There you go.
Welcome to the Rude Dog Show. Good afternoon, everybody, and for some, good evening, depending on where you're watching this from, whether you're on the East Coast, the West Coast, or a coast that is probably filled with sand and water surrounding where you're sitting right now. Thanks for joining me. This is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show. You can check out all the good stuff on TheRudeDogShow.com. And make sure that if you have any questions, anything at all, feel free to leave me kind of replies. I'm going to post this on social media, of course. It'll be on TheRudeDogShow.com as well. We have a real treat today, only because, the NFL season is on its way to wind down. There were some stipulations made today, which to some a little bit confusing in the NFL. But that Bills and Cincinnati game that was played on Thursday night certainly has been canceled and postponed, and it's done. That game certainly had no ramifications of home field advantage, which serves as I don't know, as we would like to say, a purpose. It means to an end. By no means are we going to end on that note. We're going to end on a positive note. And speaking of the NFL and hopefuls to get into the 2023 NFL draft, not that he isn't already in the CFL draft of 2023. Welcome, Orlando Fernandez. Orlando, how are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm doing good. Thank you for your time and for the opportunity that you gave me here to share a little bit of the journey. I'm just blessed to be here with you right now.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking your time out. And I know that work starts for the majority of people 10 days from now, which is the start of training and getting prepared and ready for the 2023 season. Hopefully you'll be sitting on either an NFL sideline or a CFL sideline in 2023. Let's kind of take a step back here, only from the standpoint of understanding where you've been, where you're currently at, where you're trying to head to, and where you're trending to be. And when I say that, I mean that you were a punter / kicker, but it didn't actually start that way for you. You were born in '98 in the city of Saltillo, Coahuila, in the country of Mexico. Tell me about your journey from 5 years old. How did you get the mindset? How were you able to determine that you were going to be the next CFL / maybe even NFL kicker, as your goals were obviously to play American football early on?
Yeah, I mean, I started playing when I was 5 years old in Saltillo. I'm actually right now here in Saltillo, Coahuila, and here's my hometown. And I started playing for a small club. It's called Águilas Moradas. And I started playing as a running back, quarterback, wide receiver, safety. I mean, it's a small club, and then I play, I think, until I was 15 years old in this club. So I spent 10 years of my life playing over here. And then I ended up getting an opportunity to go to a high school in Texas. And I mean, I played as a wide receiver in high school. But unfortunately, I mean, I didn't know English. I wasn't fast enough, big enough. So I didn't have a lot of play time. So that's when I started going to tryouts to see if any college gave me an opportunity. And Trinity Valley gave me a chance to go to their college. And I spent with them spring football. And I mean, I was still being a wide receiver until their kicker got injured. And they were like, where's the Mexican? I mean, they suppose just because I'm Mexican, I know how to kick. So I ended up trying out as a kicker. And I mean, I find out myself that I can kick too, So I was like, okay, if I want to stay in the U.S. playing college football, I have to be able to kick the ball. So unfortunately, I didn't make the Trinity Valley Community College football team because they bring new guys in, and they were actually like kickers. I mean, it's not like me that I was just playing receiver, and from one week to another one, they just changed my position. So I ended up coming back to Mexico, and I started practicing just on kicking.
It's interesting how people can get into natural assumptions that you know how to kick. It's almost as
Yeah.
if, well, you're Mexican, you're a Mexican, you can kick. I don't know. That could be further from the truth because I know a lot of Mexicans. I'm part Mexican, so I get the fact that perhaps there's a stereotype saying that, well, yeah, he played soccer when he grew up. I didn't play soccer. I didn't know first
Yeah.
thing about. I knew all I knew was is how to kick the ball. It had nothing to do with the style or the footwork or the anticipation. I've never even made a goal. I have no clue what that's like. So I think the stereotype is certainly out there. Now, by all means, I have a really good leg. I can do some pretty good high kicks and such, but not at the level for which it had taken practice to get there. It's just based on length, and having the dexterity to do it. Uh, Speaking of that, when you were trying out, and I know it must have been relatively disheartening when you have other people coming in, and you're thinking to yourself, "Man, I have an opportunity," and then all of a sudden they had taken that spot. How did you navigate around that personally, knowing that someone's going to come in and take that spot from you?
I know football in college and at the professional level. I mean, whoever is the best is the one who's gonna play. So I was just trying to take advantage of the opportunity that they give me at that moment, and I was trying to make all my kicks. But as I told you, I didn't know how to kick field goals. I was just literally doing one step field goals, and I remember doing 40 yarders, and I was making 40-yard field goals with doing one steps. And I remember the head coach telling me like, "Hey man, why you don't back up and do the normal steps that a kicker do?" And I'm like, "No, this is just the way I kick." But I was just trying to take advantage of my opportunity. And when I find out that they were gonna bring new people, I was not feeling down. I was just like, okay, that's fine. That's why I'm here. I'm here to compete, and I know I can compete against anybody. So I was relaxed, and I was just focusing on me, trying to take day by day and one kick at a time.
So I understand that you traveled back and forth between Mexico and the U.S., between Mississippi and Mexico. By no means are those places even remotely close, and it takes a lot of travel time to get to where you're
Yeah.
from. Um, what made you decide to go back and forth? Was it from a training perspective? You felt that perhaps you needed to work on certain fundamentals from a football standpoint, as far as footwork, toe, laces out, things of that nature.
I was just coming back over here because here's where I have my family, so it was easy for me to stay at home and don't be paying a rent or like paying everything over there in the US. So I was just coming over here with my family, and I mean, I have the opportunity to kick here. There is some football fields over here. I have a weight room over here where I can do everything I need to do. So that's why I was like just coming back home so I can be preparing myself.
Okay. So as part of that preparation, not only from a physical standpoint, when when we talk about mental preparation, adversities, things of that nature, do you believe you prepared yourself in those ways as well? So that way, when an NFL team or CFL team contacts you and they say, "Well, we want you to be a part of the team," because you've heard this, and I know I have, in regards to players getting cut consistently throughout the NFL and CFL, and then they bring them back due to injury or whatever the case might be, and they get chopped, put their head on the chopping block, and so on and so forth. Were you ready to go through that type of roller coaster? What were you doing to prepare yourself for that?
So when I get back from Trinity Valley, uh, on Instagram I contact my actually right now he's my kicking coach Sergio Castillo. He plays for the CFL right now, and he's the one who helped me out to prepare myself and who literally teach me how to be a kicker, how to have to be practicing, how do I to put how do I need to put my set up like a game situation on my mind. So he teach me how to do all that. I know it's hard to just to go over here like out here and kick and there is nobody watching you. I know it's really hard to put like the same exact game situation. It's hard because first of all here in Mexico, like I don't practice with nobody. Sometimes a couple of friends come out and support me and help me out, and I'm trying just to put my mind into game situations. But I mean, as I told you, it's not the same. I mean, but I mean, I'm just preparing myself right now, taking everything serious. I mean, it's not like I'm over here just joking around. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kicking to get better, and I know I have a future. I mean, just waiting on the opportunity to be so I can have an exposure later.
Sure. Exposure is everything. And I don't know that that can be ever understated at any given position, whether you're a punter, a kicker, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, starting center, defensive back, tailback, and the like. But while you were there at Mississippi Valley State, you played 2 seasons, taking care of 3 kickoffs, punts, and field goals. You obtained about 106 points in 22 games and an average of 42 yards per punt, which is actually really good. Uh, what was it from your trainer, Sergio Castillo, that you really had hung your hat on to know that you were headed in the right direction?
Well, he when it was I mean he saw me. He never saw me until I think it was like a year and a half, because we start practicing like virtually. Like he told me, okay, I'm gonna help you out, but I need you to record every day. I need you to record every kick you do. So after I finish kicking one day, I always go to my computer, text him, send him all the videos, and he used to tell me, okay, you're doing this wrong. You have to do this and do that. So I think he saw that I was like very disciplined. So that's when he was like, okay, this guy, like he wants to be a professional kicker, or he wants. Well, at that moment, I just wanted to play in college. So that I feel like my discipline and being like literally every day texting him and bother him, he noticed that I really want to be at the next level. And he actually was the one who gave me the opportunity to go to Cisco College, where I only did the punting duties, and I finished number 1 punter in the nation. And then that's when Mississippi Valley offered me, and I mean I played the 2 seasons with them, and then now I'm here.
Okay. Well, you see, if you had a lot of experience, what was your first punt like? The first time you had a chance to start, the first time you ever touched the field, to a point where you're put in a starting role to be the punter?
Well, it was on Cisco, and I remember I didn't punt the ball on the first 3 games because we were beating the other teams like 50 some 0. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
it seems. I mean, the first 3 games I didn't touch the field. I think it was until the 4th game. I think we played Kilgore College. That's when it was my first punt, and I mean, I was really nervous. They had a really good return. I think now he plays on Nebraska, and he was like really really big. And I'm like, okay, I know I have to put a lot of hang time on it. So, but I mean, I was not really consistent at that time on my punts, which is something weird because I was more focusing on my field goals. And when I knew that the other guy was doing the field goals, I was like, okay, I need to learn how to punt. So I literally start punting from one week to another one. And that's when I started like looking up on YouTube videos. Sergio, he was like, okay, you have to do this, do that. You have to do the drops all day. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to punt the ball. So, and I mean, I like more punts right now. I mean, I love punting. So that was my first punt over there in Kilgore College, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was. Tell me about Coach Gary's honor. I mean, I know that
Coach
you
Gary.
were being trained by him, and what was his first comment to you after noticing that you can kick?
Well, actually, Sergio Castillo was the one who told me about Coach Gary's honor. He was like, "Hey, man, I mean, if you want to have a chance to play at the next level, Coach Sonner is the one who can help you out." So I ended up going May last year in May to Arizona, and I was able to practice with him one day. And his first comment was like, "I have good potential. I mean, he told me that I'm a really good combo kicker, but I have to stick to the technique that he teach me." He literally told me, I mean, if you stick to this technique, you can do great things, but it depends on you. And that was the first comment that he told me. Like, I just have to be consistent on the technique that he taught me,
Mhm.
and I just have to stick to the script.
Okay. Well, the script can change at the next level. You see kickers sometimes with a safety punt, right? So safety punt has to be as deep as humanly possible. Whereas when you kick off a tee, you can give that as much leg as possible. But in a safety punt, you have to hold on to the ball with two hands and then release those two hands, release one hand, and then ultimately release the next hand as you kick the ball in almost, perfect symmetry. What about your safety punts? Are those as good? Did he show you certain types of techniques for probably the best practice for safety punt?
What do you mean by safety punt?
Well, a safety punt meaning that if you hold it's basically like holding onto a soccer ball and you're kicking it with your hands, right? Kicking it off of your hands. A safety punt means that if the other team on the offensive side of the ball that you're facing, let's just say they get a safety, you have to kick the ball from very deep within that part of the field in order
Oh
to get
yeah,
the ball downfield to the other team
yeah,
and pin them in as much as possible. But you're
yeah,
losing 10 plus yards when you're
yeah.
punting from your
Well,
own end zone. So
yeah.
it's not the easiest thing to do. Have you had any chances to do safety punts?
Yeah, actually, I had my first one, and the only one that I had in college was against Delta State this last season, and I hate it because I had the win against me, and I think I hit I had a 55 yard like from the spot where I was punting a 55 yard like 4-2 4-3 hang time. But I
Mm.
mean, it is really hard. It is really hard. I feel like I feel more comfortable when I see the punting scenario. When you have the long snapper, you have your shields or the people that is covering you because I never we never practice it like practice we never practice safety punts. So that was like when I was out there, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try to hit a. I know the wind is against me, so I was like, I'm just trying to line drive the ball. I mean, I will say it wasn't my greatest ball, but I mean it was a pretty decent ball against the wind, and we were able to cover down that safety punt.
Yeah, kicking against the wind has got to be the most brutal thing. It's different when the wind is at your back, but that could also have dire consequences as you're trying to punt, or commit a field goal, right, to either win the game or tie the game. I know I've seen a lot of kickers in the NFL. I've interviewed guys like Jeff Reed, who used to kick for the Steelers, Craig Colquitt, who has two sons playing in the NFL right now. So, I've heard a lot of stories about punting and how much that could be as difficult as possible. But with the wind in front of you, trying to kick against it, um, that's really difficult. That's really tough.
Yeah, it is.
Uh, but this is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show, here for just a moment longer with Orlando Fernandez from the Santil Coalia by way of Itabena, Mississippi. Reach out to his agent if you have any questions. I'll put his punting and kickoff YouTube video as well as from field goals in addition to that. So to give everybody kind of an idea, you have 131 punts, 42 is your average, 40 fair catches, 50 punts inside the 20, 21 punts of 50 plus, field goals of 20 to 36, 10 were blocked. Your longest field goal was 50 yards, which NFLers and head coaches are, thank God. You kick past 50 yards, especially when the game's on the line in that situation. You wouldn't want Orlando on your side, not on the other side. One guy reminds you, he just, oh my gosh, just absolutely crazy in Justin Tucker for the Baltimore Ravens. The guy is just phenomenal. You are a special teams player of the week. You were a special team player of the week in fall of 2021, SWAC special team player of the week in 21, Phil Steele, all SWAC second team in 21, and then HBCU Sports preseason all SWAC second team in 2022, and then last but not least, never least rather, fall 2022 SWAC special team player of the week in November. So very recent accolade. He's 6 foot. He's at 190, kicker / punter. Reach out to him. Reach out to his agent. Feel free to reach out to me, and I will do my absolute best to get what information I can to you. to in turn contact Orlando, his agent, and we all have dreams of getting to the next level and whatever that actually looks like. But I can tell you this: if Orlando's given an opportunity to play in the NFL, I'm more than confident he will excel. He's extremely coachable. He's extremely likable. So Orlando, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. It was great having you on today. And hopefully everybody can at least contact you. And I know when we think of kickers and punters, you're thinking, yeah, kicker, punter, yeah, they're a dime a dozen. Well, they're not. And Orlando is amongst the few, the proud, to get out there and perform and do his best, whether he's in front of 1,000 people, hundreds of thousands of people, or maybe just one person. And it wouldn't be me. So thanks a lot, Orlando. I appreciate you coming on.
Nah, thank you for the opportunity and the time to be here. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you very much. This is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show. Again, check this out on TheRudeDogShow.com. Go to YouTube. It'll be on there. And you can find this wherever social media is free. So thanks a lot. I appreciate you. And everybody have a great day.